things started.
To The View. It's Guy Day Friday.
Guy Day Friday.
Guy Day.
Guy Day. And
Guy Day.
Joining us is a real man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our guest co-host, please welcome comedian and star of America's Got Talent, the bald and the beautiful Howie Mandel.
Thank you. Guy Day.
It's Guy Day.
Guy Day Friday.
Yeah, you call it Guy Friday.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was called, but I'm so thrilled to be here. This is it. You guys have been on for 20 years. This is my first time on this show.
But you watch the show.
Really?
I do watch the show.
20 years.
I've been waiting for an invitation. And
Really?
I was so excited to be here. I really am.
Okay, good.
I love you guys. I love what you do. I love the discussion. I was very comfortable, but until I spent some time with you backstage.
Why? What did I do? What did I do to you?
Not to me, to yourself.
You mean, oh, because you know why? I know what he means. Because I sneezed into my cleavage. I went, phew, like that.
She always does that
Because I know he has OCD, the guy, you know. And
Oh, you did it for me?
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
she's done it before,
I've seen that you do that before.
No, but now as a man, sometimes I look at a woman, and there's some women where I think it's body makeup, there's like a glistening look. And now I'm going to have a whole different view of what that glistening.
All right. You want to do some hot topics, Howard?
I would love to
Okay.
do hot
Here, let's start here. Steve Bannon. Remember Steve Bannon? You know Steve Bannon, right? Steve Bannon, President Bannon. Steve Bannon and Reince Priebus reportedly can't stand each other. But they shared quite a moment at CPAC yesterday. Watch this. Well, wait a minute. For a second, it looked like he was about to grab Reince by the Priebus.
Well, I'll tell you something. I've been with my wife for 40 years, and sometimes in bed at night, that's me and her.
Really?
So you
do you
perceived
think
it as a push away?
Yeah, did you think it was a push away or a come on?
Oh, no.
Well, one was a come on and one was a push away.
Oh.
What are you talking
So
about?
Bannon was like, hey.
He went for it.
Yeah.
And Priebus didn't want any of
Priebus
it.
said, don't go near my Priebus.
Right. But I think it's kind of weird for somebody to grab somebody on the inner thigh. Anyhow, I don't shake hands, let alone touch somebody I work with on the inner thigh.
I know, but do you think that they're getting along? You know them better than we do.
No, I don't think they're getting along at
They're
all.
not.
Steve Bannon has been taking on the establishment, what he calls the Republican establishment, for a very long time. And that establishment, which means basically the system, business as usual, the system, you know, the political system as we know it for a long time. And Reince Priebus is representative of that system. So I don't believe for a second that they're getting along. I think for me that picture shows that Bannon's a boss. He's going to do whatever he wants.
That's what I took from it.
He's basically saying, I'm running the show, going to do what I want. You got to take it or leave it.
It was like a dominant move to me.
For sure.
It was like,
and he is running the show, I assure you.
So it's not S&M-ish then.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
There's another picture, too.
He was trying to drain his swamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's this other picture.
50 Shades of Grey. Like, we do not. That's not what I saw.
Check out this picture.
I found it was.
This is like a hug.
Oh, this is beautiful.
I think it's important for them. They want to look like they get along. They want to look like they're bridging, you know.
They're not trying too hard, because that was very, in a speech where I think in that interview they talked about, oh, people say we don't like each other, but we do.
Bannon said that they do like each other.
Yeah, but what I mean is the fact that they let that visually happen. It's not just TV cameras. There was an audience. Like, would you ever, if you know your intention is that's going to come up, guys play nice on the stage, and then you swat someone away?
Maybe he didn't know. You know, if you watch it, and I don't know if you have it this show again, he doesn't make eye contact.
We'll show it all. The whole hour.
But he may know it's him. He may just assume it's like there's a mosquito, something.
Yeah.
Something tickling my thigh. What is that?
Right. Other than a dad to his son, I have never seen that social interaction with men. Typically, if a man's saying like "good job," it's like, well, like if you're saying "good job, son," it's like a little, like a young thing, almost like a power thing.
Thigh placement is
if your friend was sitting here and you were like, "Hey, good job," maybe they do this on your arm. How many people go for your leg?
It's the inner thigh placement.
A lot of people do, but that I have cat-like thighs, and people love.
All right, well, speaking of getting handsy, a court charged a California sheriff with creating a hostile environment because he hugged a female officer too many times. So, Howie, if I hugged you right now, or let's say...
Knowing what you did in your cleavage, I'd be uncomfortable. So,
are you saying...
I mean, but that doesn't mean we couldn't spoon.
I'm not into that. Backwards like that? That's disgusting.
I love spooning.
I don't do that.
Who doesn't love spooning?
I don't do that. No.
Oh, man.
Start talking like... No, I won't spoon.
How did we go from hostile work environment to spooning?
Well, now it's getting... Because it's a hostile work. I'm going to spoon you. I'm going to spoon you. I'm going to spoon you.
The Pennsylvania State Police has issued an Amber Child abduction alert to the Bridgeport, Connecticut Police Department. On February 23, 2017, Island Sophia Hernandez, a 6-year-old Hispanic female, was abducted from Greenwood Street, Bridgeport, Connecticut, by Oscar Hernandez. She is described as 4 foot tall, 55 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes. Oscar Hernandez, described as a 39-year-old Hispanic male, 5 foot 3 inches tall, 165 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes. The child and suspect are believed to be in the Altoona, Pennsylvania area in a silver 2017 Hyundai Sonata bearing Connecticut registration AG91925. Anyone with information is asked to contact the police by dialing 911. Repeating, the Pennsylvania State Police has issued an Amber Child abduction alert to the Bridgeport, Connecticut Police Department. On February 23, 2017, Island Sophia Hernandez, a 6-year-old Hispanic female, was abducted from Greenwood Street, Bridgeport, Connecticut by Oscar Hernandez. She is described as a 4 foot tall, 55 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes. Oscar Hernandez is described as 39 years old, Hispanic male, 5 foot 3 inches tall, 165 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes.
Can I talk about it?
The child and suspect are believed to be in the Altoona, Pennsylvania area in a silver
Still ahead, the news editor from Steve Bannon's former website Breitbart reveals why right-wing media got Trump in and Main Street media got left out.
Nick Cannon says that he's done with America's Got Talent. Why? Because they had problems with things he said during his stand-up comedy special. Now, Howie, you work there. Come on, give us the scoop.
Well, I'll be honest with you, and I'm very pained right now because the thought of doing and going ahead this season without Nick Cannon is unthinkable. And say it ain't so. But the truth of the matter is...
What happened to the show must go on?
Well, here's the problem. Here's the thing. I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
And he toured with me, too. Tonight, I'm at the Westbury Theater in Long Island. And if... No, you know what? The audience, you are all invited tonight, each and every one of you.
Yeah.
I'm not getting you tickets. You're just invited. But here's the thing that I'm saying. The Howie Mandel that will be on stage tonight is not the Howie Mandel that actually you're watching right now, and is not the Howie Mandel that you see on AGT or you saw on Deal or No Deal.
So you have multiple,
don't edit my...
Do you have multiple personality
disorders? But there's a time and a place. You know, it's as a parent. When your kids are in the room, you talk a certain way, and you are a responsible parent. And then when you're with your husband or your wife or your partner, you're adults, and you...
Isn't it a little different different when you work for a company and you become the face of a show?
But let me just say something. Nick Cannon is a comedian. Nick Cannon is a musician. Nick Cannon is, he's whatever. You see Wild 'N Out? You ever seen the show Wild 'N Out on MTV? It's a very different Nick Cannon. So I also understand NBC being concerned when they, you know, they have a...
What did he do exactly?
You know, his language and and whatever.
Doing stand-up.
Doing stand-up, but it's a joke. And this is what scares. We were talking about this earlier. As a comedian, you know, I came up in the 70s and I watched Richard Pryor put together his Live on the Sunset Strip.
Right.
And what I loved about comedy is we could walk into clubs. You did this too.
I did.
You walk into clubs and a lot of stuff doesn't work. And a lot of stuff is where you cross the line, you offend people, you do. But that's the art form. And you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. I've stepped too far. I do. Today, people are sharing too much. You know, so you can't work and you can't say it's a joke and you can't say I was just kidding or I was in a club or I was on a special, because whatever we do, any place, is everywhere.
But isn't that a problem for me, the fact that the joke was about NBC? Like, for example, if I work for ABC now, if I go out on the side, let's say I were a comedian, I'm not funny enough to be, but let's say I were funny enough to be a comedian, and I were making jokes and the jokes were about ABC and could be viewed in a derogatory light, I would probably expect to have a consequence for that.
They can't take a joke?
But the
They
point
might
is,
not find that funny.
maybe both sides have blown this. But he's not really saying anything. I don't know how many people saw the special, but what he said is you're not getting the AGT, Nick. You're not getting the AGT. And he's, you know, and that's the same thing. And if I walk on stage tonight, I'll go, you know, it's not the guy that you watched this morning on The View, and now I'm going to talk about something very inappropriate, and I'm going to tell you what happened when I finished spooning.
All right.
But I have to say this.
We'll take it.
NBC has, though, not commented on the situation. NBC has not commented.
But did he quit or they got rid of him? What happened there?
They did not get rid of him.
They didn't. Oh, so he quit.
It's in his
pride issue. It's a pride issue.
And he hasn't done it yet.
And you know what? And we're still 2 weeks away from taping, and I'm going to make number 3 is Nick. Say it ain't so. Please come back to work. I think he is the best host on television. No, I'm telling you something. He is so underrated. He is terrific. You have no idea how hard that is to do. He consoles people. He keeps it on time. He goes live. Nick, the show will not be as good without you. You've got to come back and do it.
Okay, that's very good. That'll make news. Good. The Oscars are this Sunday night.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch. I enjoy them. I always watch. And if ever there was a year to make a political statement during a speech, it's this one. But 66% of Trump supporters say they'll change the channel if that happens. Now, I can't wait for I don't want to hear, I want to thank my piano teacher, my gynecologist. You know, I mean, I enjoy that. Remember, and how many people remember Marlon Brando? You're too young. Marlon Brando, with that, he had that Native American woman, Little Feather, go up there and trashed Hollywood about the way they portray American Indians in this country on the new movies.
It was incredible, that moment. And that's the thing. I feel that, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. And you have this significant platform. Why not use it for social justice? Why not use it to make the point?
Because it's one view. It's one view all the time. And half the country, but it's repeated. It's not like you have a diversity of thought that's expressed there. If you had one actor get up and say one thing and another actor get up and be, that's not going to happen. You know that's not going to happen.
He's up for an Academy Award?
I mean, every time.
Wow.
Who are you talking about, Trump?
Joni loves Chachi.
But there are.
Joy, you are
that are to the right. There are actors.
I've never seen an award show in Hollywood and sat back and been like, wow, they're advocating for a right-wing cause. That's so interesting.
John Boyd.
Okay, out loud at an award show?
Honey, you're pushing it right now. No, it's funny. This is where Sonny and I, we go back and forth on this.
We do.
Sonny feels that if you have a big platform, there is a certain obligation.
Use it for good.
Use it for good. I commend those people that want to stand up and use their platform because they have it and they feel passionately, but I think sometimes their interests aren't the same. Like we saw Jennifer Holliday come up here and sit at our table, and she had said, you know, I don't watch this stuff all day, and
everybody's different.
I totally was fine with Reba
McEntire. I'm subjected to Donald Trump, the biggest celebrity in the world. I have to listen to his baloney every minute. I want to hear from some other celebrity.
The only person they have to thank at the Oscars, the only one I wait for is whoever they're dating or married to. I only want to hear the love.
Can I just say one thing? One thing is, I think that America is wonderful because we can speak up wherever, whatever the platform. What I don't understand is when people say that is not the platform. There's so much, it's like hallowed ground. I remember when Michael Moore spoke, said something at the Oscars. Remember? My mom said, can you imagine he did it there? And I'm going, there? What is it? Think about what it is. They're giving out little statues for people who pretend. You know, it just really, what is acting? Really, what is acting? How important is that night that somebody can't get up and just give their view?
Well, they have a very good
people at home, I'm telling you, because there are people at home who love those actors and love those films, but feel very marginalized when it's like, your views are wrong, by the way, and this is the right way to think. They say, you know what, I love your movie, I love you as an actress, but I don't want to be made to feel bad about my views.
About you.
But you know what?
That's too bad about you not wanting to hear it. I'm going to say it anyway.
We need to I'm getting yelled at. Let's go. Okay, so as you heard us mention, the Oscars are this Sunday night, and today's Black History Month FYI puts two trailblazing artists in the spotlight. Denzel Washington is the first Black actor nominated for 8 Oscars. He won twice, and this Sunday night he may have to make room for 2 more because he's nominated for Best Actor and Producer
He
of
started
Fences.
with me on St. Elsewhere.
And
That's right.
That's amazing.
That's right. I love that show.
Only the second Black man to win a Best Actor Oscar, almost 4 decades after Sidney Poitier became, do I say that right? Poitier? Poitier.
Sydney.
Sidney
Poitier.
I said it right.
Yes.
Sydney
Okay.
Poitier became the very first.
Sydney.
I said it. For 1963's Lilies of the Field, another one of Poitier's.
Sydney's.
It's that R. Landmark movies. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which I love, is celebrating its 50-year anniversary, and members of our audience are getting a copy.
You know, I have to say, that movie. Okay, you're getting it. Aren't you happy? Yeah.
You're getting this.
I know, but that. We'll be right back. Go. We'll be right back.
To celebrate Black History Month, we're highlighting historic Black colleges and universities. Check out these view slides. Now it's your turn. Learn the moves and upload.
Welcome back. So, have you ever had the dream where you're naked in public? Have you?
Yeah.
Okay, psychologists say that it's probably because you're embarrassed of something that you did or you don't want people to know about. And here's my question. Do you think Bannon dreams about Reince Priebus being naked or the other way around? There they are.
Joy.
That's not an image the audience needed, Joy. It's not helpful.
What does it mean if you're naked? If you
In your
think
dream, yeah.
It means that you're embarrassed about something about yourself that other people don't know about you, or it comes from harboring feelings of guilt or inferiority.
I'm always naked in every dream.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm telling you.
I'm naked a lot. It's anxiety. It's for sure anxiety.
in your dreams?
Yeah,
I
it
always-
sucks.
And I'm always preparing my whole waking hours to be naked in my dreams. Right now, as I sit here, I'm doing Kegel exercises.
I've never had that dream, but I have the dream where I have missed the exam.
Oh, yeah.
And then I don't have enough credits to graduate.
I have the not
have
enough
that,
to graduate.
too.
That's a bad one.
I have that
That's a
one.
bad
Well,
one.
you didn't
always
study
high
for the
school.
test?
Always high school. I don't
Always
know why.
high school.
Yeah.
High school was not a
And
good
how about
time for
teeth
me.
falling out?
Teeth falling out.
And
Then
you're
I
spitting
wake
them out?
up and I'm
No, that
feeling for all loose teeth.
No.
I'm
You know
more
what
naked than
Then I'm your nightmare because I don't even have a GED.
You don't?
I don't have
You're
a
a
GED.
dropout.
No, a thrown out. I was thrown out of school.
Really?
I was thrown out of 3 different high schools.
Were you a troublemaker?
You know, I was diagnosed later on in life in my 40s, but I have severe ADHD. I have anxiety. I have OCD. I was a mess, but they thought I was a troublemaker.
Oh,
so
this is in Canada, by the way.
But don't cry. Don't cry. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Look, it's Guy Day Friday. I'm doing okay.
And don't try to, you know,
Don't try this
ape
at home.
this. Don't ape this because
No, get an education. She means copy.
Don't try to
copy.
That's what that means?
Yes, ape it.
Ape
Common.
it, yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Do crossword puzzles.
Wow.
It's always been crossword puzzles.
Copy. Copy.
No, I can hear you. I just...
Sydney.
Well, you know, I used to teach the high school dropouts. I used to teach them to pass the GED
This
exam.
could work out nicely.
So I could help you.
Spend time.
I could help you with that.
Spoon in school.
Yeah.
You were going to say something about...
But I was only good in the English part. When it came to the math, they put me in the class one time, and I was trying to teach math, and the kids were like, she doesn't know it.
But the thing is...
like a thing in the room. She don't know it. Really? Oh, it was horrifying.
See, I don't have a GED. My daughter, one daughter's a teacher, one daughter's about to get her PhD.
Oh, wow.
You know?
They made up for you.
Yeah. The teacher is now a vlogger, a mummy vlogger.
That's too bad that they didn't recognize that there was an issue and that they didn't help you. I think our teachers today they've always had a very difficult job, but I think they're pretty good now about diagnosing
But that's my platform.
children.
My platform now is to remove the stigma for mental health and make mental health awareness part of our curriculum.
People didn't know. People didn't know back in the day. They didn't know. They didn't know enough about
It's hard
this.
for me to sit here this long.
Yeah.
Is it really? Are you antsy?
Are you antsy? Or is it because I keep
antsy.
touching you?
Well, you're touching me. I'm antsy.
Why did they can't by me? I touch all
She's
the
got
time.
mucus in her
not a
chest.
good idea.
Nothing about today is comfortable.
You know, a few snuts and they hold it against you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I need a break. I need a break.
All right, it's almost over.
Give me a break.
We'll be right back. We're not going away. Relationships, experts say it's a little romantic gestures that make all the difference. For example, you know, I wish I had an example.
I have one.
What?
From today.
There it goes.
I forgot I made breakfast this morning, and I forgot. You ever like make your breakfast and you put it in like foil or whatever, and you leave it at home? I didn't realize I left it at home. My boyfriend realized it. He got him a city bike, which people, New Yorkers know, these bikes you can rent. He drove to work. He dropped it off for me so that it would be here for me. I was like,
Your breakfast?
My breakfast. I made eggs. I made like a little...
Weren't they cold by the time they got?
I still wanted to eat them. You know, you got it.
That's the difference between... That's the difference between guy day and girl day. You know, if your boyfriend brought breakfast that you left in the... That's a romantic gesture.
To me it is. Yeah, because
I agree.
When I was younger...
Use your eggs.
No, it is. When I was younger, I used to think it was flowers and candy and rose petals, and now that I have a little wisdom, I'm like, you know what? Shovel the snow for me. That's my romance.
Well, I would say, when it snowed here, when did it snow here? 2 weeks ago? It snowed in New York 2 weeks ago, and I got up really early to run outside to, you know, shovel my car, take the snow off of my windshield and heat up my car, and my husband had done it already.
That's amazing.
That was big. I was like, wow.
That is so beautiful. I love
it. I'm with you.
You want to know what I think is romantic? The fact that I don't kill him when he's snoring. That's romantic.
Okay.
I've been
40 years of marriage, and you're the biggest smartass at this table.
Yeah, and I'm not romantic at all. One time in 40 years, I brought my wife flowers. I brought flowers.
40 years ago.
Not 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
But 20 years ago.
Like
No, wait. I brought her flowers. You know what she said to me? Who gave you these? And it was true. It was from a set. I just brought them home. It was free.
She knows you.
She knows what she signed up for.
Look how we walk. We don't hold hands. We don't nothing. And that's what makes it work. I've never brought her an egg.
Well, she knows why not to hold your hand.
I've never cleaned the snow for her. 40 years.
All right, we got to
You know
go
what a
to the
romantic
toilet.
gesture is?
All right. Two things. What's amazing is that you could have sex with someone with OCD, but that's another story.
You know how...
It's just his hands that are a problem.
Skeeves, if I
Everything else.
sneeze in my cleavage, but how
I
do you...
have her power washed minutes before.
Funny. Okay, Howie, tell us, before we go, you have 30 seconds.
Okay.
Tell us about how you're fronting a toilet company.
Well, you don't want to bring. I'm the face of American Standard, the toilet. No, because they have a new ActiClean, and it's self-cleaning toilet. But I'm the face of it. But
that
that's
makes
why.
sense.
But you can, and you get those toilets that
Oh, the
spritz. I
best.
love it. It's perfect for me, for my wife. Look at me. Most people in this business get their own fragrance. They get their own clothing line.
You get a poop.
Toilets. That's this.
Okay, we gotta go.
I love it.
I do look like Mr.
You
Clean.
do. You need the earring, and we'll be right back.
Next, editor of the controversial website Breitbart, Joe Pollak, takes on accusations his former boss Steve Bannon's pulling Trump's strings.
What a difference an election makes. It took the website Breitbart from a fringe conservative news site to one of the most powerful media outlets in America. And their former boss, Steve Bannon, we met him today, is now chief White House strategist. Right now we're joined by senior editor-at-large and co-author of the book, How Trump Won, the Inside Story of a Revolution, Joel Pollak. Welcome, Joel.
Welcome.
So, you are the Breitbart News Senior Editor-at-Large. That was the title you have. And with Breitbart, the website has been described as a platform for the alt-right, or some people say white supremacists.
Well,
how would you describe it?
Breitbart News is a conservative website, and we have a very diverse group of editors and writers. I'm the Orthodox Jewish former editor-in-chief, senior editor-at-large, so not exactly an accurate description. We call that fake news, a fake news description. But we are
What's the fake news description? What I said?
Yes,
That it's white supremacist or...
No.
But many of the articles...
That's not fake news.
It's absolutely...
Well,
Look,
how do you explain this headline? Bill Kristol, Republican spoiler, renegade Jew. You're Jewish. Why?
right, it was written by David Horowitz, who's one of the most prominent Jewish conservatives, and he was criticizing Bill Kristol for not being Jewish enough. So it was the opposite of what people described. And we have more than a dozen Jewish people working at Breitbart, including the CEO, the COO. We have black writers, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, gay, whatever you can
So what do you
imagine.
think is the rise of anti-Semitism about in this country?
You know, I'm really glad the media finally woke up to this phenomenon, because it started quite a long time ago, long before Donald Trump ran for president, particularly in California, where I live. On college campuses, there's been a rising tide of anti-Semitism linked to far left-wing criticism of Israel. And it's very tough to be a Jewish student on some of these campuses nowadays.
Yeah, but mostly it seems to me that there's a flurry of them since Trump is in.
I think the media just woke up and noticed that this is a problem. And I think that I feel very proud that Donald Trump not only is one of the most pro-Israel presidents that we've ever had, but that his daughter, Ivanka, tonight will light the Sabbath candles, just like my wife will, and bring in the Sabbath. And to me, that's something extraordinary in American history to
Yeah, but
have
you know that phrase, some of my best friends are Jewish, it's meaningless, really. You can still be an anti-Semite and have Jewish relatives.
It's different.
Right?
I agree with you. When people say my friends are Jewish, it doesn't really
or
cut
I've got
it.
a black friend.
But when your in-laws are Jewish, your in-laws are Jewish, you got a little more credibility.
Let me ask you about Steve Bannon, because Whoopi calls him President Bannon, and he's the White House chief strategist, the former executive chair of Breitbart. People have called him everything from a Nazi to a racist. He's made bigoted statements. They've called him a white supremacist sympathizer. What is your response? How do you work for someone who has that reputation?
Well, none of that is true. That's more fake news. And even people who...
So everyone is lying?
Yes. Steve is a fantastic guy. I worked with him for 6 years, and he can be very tough in an argument. We used to argue all the time over any kind of policy issues. Jedediah will back me up here. You know, you bring data and facts to the table.
Very tough guy.
Yeah, but absolutely a fair-minded person brought...
So we can't believe when he makes these bigoted statements? Is he just being
which
provocative?
exactly are you referring to?
There's like a laundry list. I'm sure I can get you a call.
I mean, Here's a headline from Breitbart. Birth control makes women unattractive and crazy. Do I look crazy to you?
But that's
not bigoted, though. That's not bigoted. That's a bigoted statement.
But you see how you've shifted the goalposts now. So it's gone from Steve Bannon says things to, oh, there was a headline.
Well,
Steve Bannon has not said bigoted things. Steve Bannon
but
is...
he's behind these, though. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, I've often argued. I mean, I submitted content a long time ago to Breitbart, and I know Steve, and I've often argued that, you know, you can disagree with him, and it's tough to disagree with him because he's a very strong-headed guy, but I've often said that I don't believe him to be an anti-Semite or racist or any of those things, just to back that up. He's tough, though, so you go into a battle, you better be prepared, as far as I can see. But I have a question about Steve, which is that Steve is, from what I know of him, kind of a boss. He does like to take control. He does like to be kind of in charge. And I see a lot of what's coming out from the Trump campaign now. A lot of the focus seems to be about going against the media establishment. That is Steve's main focal point. Is it safe to assume that Steve is kind of running the show?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Donald Trump takes orders from anybody, so I think Donald Trump is very much in charge. I think that Steve Bannon and Reince Priebus do get along. I think I do think they get along.
It didn't look like that in the thing we showed today. It looked like he was going like this. Don't touch me. That's what it looked like.
You know, I can clear something up. Steve. Yeah.
I mean, it's right in front of your eyes.
Just to clarify, Steve never touched my leg. So,
How about your Priebus?
Speaking of the media, you co-wrote a book called How Trump Won, The Inside Story of a Revolution, and you say that the biggest reason he won the election was because he defied the media. He received more free airtime than any other candidate in American history. Did he defy them or did he con them?
The answer is yes. He certainly pulled a few tricks on the media, the most notorious of which was when he called the press conference and everyone came there and they were going to hear him talk about Obama and his birthplace. And he spent half an hour rolling out one military leader after another, talking about what a great commander-in-chief was going to be. And then in the last 10 seconds he says, oh, and by the way, Obama was born in Hawaii. And then everyone said, oh, you know, we got fooled again, we got conned or whatever, but he got all that free airtime for half an hour. It was like a free TV commercial across the country. He was very clever. He knew how to reel them in and then do that. But the bigger part of it was going over the heads of the media, speaking directly to the American people through Twitter, through rallies.
He did do that.
Yeah, and I think the most important...
He's a liar. You do admit that. He's a liar. He lies about everything.
All liars.
He was going to protect the LGBTQ community, and he just rescinded that protection.
He's a politician. They all lie.
They all lie. He's a liar. He lies about everything.
Can I ask you a question, though, because we often have this conversation about the media and media bias, and people don't understand. Like, I see when they're talking about the media as an opposition party, I understand why that appeals to a majority of Americans who are dissatisfied with media and feel that media has betrayed them. Can you speak a little bit to that, about the part of the country that feels that media has basically been a force for alignment with the left, and now the effort is to try to balance that out? Can you speak to that a little bit? No, this is real. This is a real topic.
There was a guy who showed up at the inauguration on January 20th with a big sign that said, I don't know any Russians. And he was sending that as a message to the media that we voted for Donald Trump, we like Donald Trump, this Russian thing is fake news, we have real support for him.
Right.
And I think that many Americans feel overlooked. I mean, look, Donald Trump won because he went behind the blue wall. He spoke to and listened to
that he's going to make the Mexicans pay for.
But I got to say this, there was a Quinnipiac University poll just out Wednesday that found that 52% of American voters trust the media more than President Trump. Don't they have buyer's remorse now? 52%.
There was another poll last week on Fox News that showed that 45% trust Trump and 42% trust the media. So, there are different polls. But I think your other question is really pertinent, which is, do his supporters have buyer's remorse? And I think far from that. I think they feel like this is what they wanted, this is what they're getting.
Yeah.
I think that the rest of the country is still trying to figure out how to approach Donald Trump, but certainly his voters are 100% behind him.
Right. Okay. Whatever. I mean, when you say, just one more word, when you say that the media is the enemy of the people, that is the slippery slope to fascism. I'm just saying, thanks to Joel Pollak. His new book is called How Trump Won, The Inside Story of a Revolution, and we'll be right back.
Kick off your Oscar Sunday with Barbara Walters. Back in 1993, she sat down with one of this year's nominees, Denzel Washington, when he was nominated for his portrayal of Malcolm X. Barbara Walters' top Oscar interviews of all time airs at 11 a.m. on Oscar Sunday, and Oscar night coverage begins at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific, right here on ABC.
We'll be watching, Barbara. Yeah. Thanks, Howie, for coming by. Did you have fun?
Thanks,
I had a great time. This
I
has
like
been
Howie.
I love Guy Day.
Okay.
Guy Day.
We love you. Thanks to Howie Mandel. Have a great day, everyone. Take a little time to enjoy the view. What a difference an election makes. It took the website Breitbart from a fringe conservative news site to one of the most powerful media outlets in America. And their former boss, Steve Bannon, we met him today, is now chief White House strategist. Right now we're joined by senior editor-at-large and co-author of the book, How Trump Won, the Inside Story of a Revolution, Joel Pollak. Welcome, Joel.
Welcome.
So, you are the Breitbart News Senior Editor-at-Large. That was the title you have. And with Breitbart, the website has been described as a platform for the alt-right, or some people say white supremacists.
Well,
how would you describe it?
Breitbart News is a conservative website, and we have a very diverse group of editors and writers. I'm the Orthodox Jewish former editor-in-chief, senior editor-at-large, so not exactly an accurate description. We call that fake news, a fake news description. But we are
What's the fake news description? What I said?
Yes,
that it's white supremacist or...
No.
But many of the articles...
That's not fake news.
It's absolutely...
Well,
Look,
how do you explain this headline? Bill Kristol, Republican spoiler, renegade Jew. You're Jewish. Why?
Right. It was written by David Horowitz, who's one of the most prominent Jewish conservatives, and he was criticizing Bill Kristol for not being Jewish enough. So it was the opposite of what people described. And we have more than a dozen Jewish people working at Breitbart, including the CEO, the COO. We have black writers, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, gay, whatever you can
So what do you
imagine.
think is the rise of anti-Semitism about in this country?
You know, I'm really glad the media finally woke up to this phenomenon, because it started quite a long time ago, long before Donald Trump ran for president, particularly in California, where I live. On college campuses, there's been a rising tide of anti-Semitism linked to far left-wing criticism of Israel. And it's very tough to be a Jewish student on some of these campuses nowadays.
Yeah, but mostly it seems to me that there's a flurry of them since Trump is in.
I think the media just woke up and noticed that this is a problem. And I think that I feel very proud that Donald Trump not only is one of the most pro-Israel presidents that we've ever had, but that his daughter, Ivanka, tonight will light the Sabbath candles, just like my wife will, and bring in the Sabbath. And to me, that's something extraordinary in American history to have that.
Yeah, but you know that phrase, some of my best friends are Jewish? It's meaningless, really. You can still be an anti-Semite and have Jewish relatives.
It's different.
Right?
I agree with you. When people say my friends are Jewish, it doesn't really cut it.
I've got a black friend.
But when your in-laws are Jewish, your in-laws are Jewish, you got a little more credibility.
Let me ask you about Steve Bannon, because Whoopi calls him President